Welcome to today's deep dive. Usually, we're poring over massive historical biographies or, I don't know, dense philosophical textbooks.
Right. Stacks of peer-reviewed articles.
Exactly. But today, the source material we are unpacking for you is, well, it's entirely different. It's literally just a single handwritten page of notes.
Yeah, just one page. But what makes it so compelling, aside from the fact that it's dated exactly today, March 8, 2026, is just the sheer density of the ideas packed onto this one piece of paper.
It's incredibly dense. It's this highly intricate blueprint of human consciousness.
It really is. It maps out reality itself
Mm.
and how we experience the physical world using this deeply layered series of interlocking metaphors.
Yeah, it functions almost like a Rosetta Stone for personal philosophy. When you first look at the concepts on this page, it might seem like just a collection of abstract terms.
Right, but as you spend time with the framework, this very rigid, profound architecture emerges.
Mm.
To set the stage for you, the entire framework is anchored by a single quote right at the very top. It's attributed to the initials MGM.
And the quote reads, "Spirit first, mind after, body later."
Yes.
But there's a crucial parenthetical note attached right at the end of that quote that we really need to unpack. The note specifies, in parentheses, in that order.
In that order, exactly.
It underlines the progression. This isn't just a casual list of human components where you can, mix and match the ingredients.
No, not at all. It is a strict sequence of operations.
Spirit first, mind after, body later.
In that exact order, it completely sets up the trajectory for everything that follows on the page.
And that rigid sequence is really the thesis statement for the entire blueprint.
Yeah, the framework operates as a strict top-down progression. It tracks this journey of existence starting from what is explicitly labeled at the top as the cause,
The cause, right?
moving all the way down to the bottom, which is boldly labeled as the effect.
It takes us through three distinct levels of reality, perfectly matching that opening quote. Spirit, then mind, then body.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start at that very top layer, the origin point. The overarching label here is cause in brackets.
This is where everything begins. And to explain how this cause functions, the author assigns a specific state of matter to this level, which is gas.
Using gas as the metaphor for the starting point of existence is an incredibly deliberate choice.
Why is that?
Well, think about the fundamental properties of a gas. It's formless, it is inherently expansive, it naturally fills whatever container it's placed in.
And it's mostly invisible to the human eye.
Right. So in the context of this framework, gas represents a foundational state of energy before it has been constrained or categorized or shaped into anything tangible.
It's the raw, unadulterated potential of existence before it becomes anything specific.
Exactly.
And to make that abstract concept of formless gas a bit more tangible for you, there's a water analogy paired with it right next to it.
Yeah, this top level is equated to the ocean.
But not just any water. It's characterized specifically as the deep, still, vast ocean, the ultimate infinite source.
And this is where the human element is introduced. This vast, gaseous ocean is equated to spirit or consciousness.
Furthermore, it's defined on the page as pure awareness.
Pure awareness is a concept that takes a minute to really wrap your head around. It is the highest level of our being.
Yeah.
And according to this framework, it is the fundamental cause of everything else. It is simply the pure capacity to be aware.
It has no shape, no opinions, no anxieties.
None. It's completely formless, exactly like a gas. It's the silent observer behind your eyes before you even formulate the thought, I am observing.
Okay, but I'm looking at how this is broken down further, and I kind of want to challenge the framework a bit here.
Go for it.
So the pure awareness is labeled pure water, but right next to it, there's a sketch of two overlapping circles.
Right, the Venn diagram sort of drawing.
Exactly. And they introduce the concepts of the soul and the subconscious, but they are labeled as tinted water. If this top level represents the absolute perfection of pure awareness, does the introduction of tinted water imply that the soul is somehow flawed or corrupted? Like it's less perfect than the pure spirit?
That's a really sharp distinction to make. But no, calling it tinted doesn't necessarily imply corruption. Rather, it implies individualization.
Individualization.
Think of it this way. Pure awareness, the clear ocean, is universal. It has no identity. But the soul and the subconscious represent the exact moment that this universal awareness begins to become you.
Oh, I see.
Imagine taking a glass of crystal clear water from that infinite pure ocean and dropping just a single tiny bead of blue dye into it.
It's still fundamentally water.
Exactly. It still shares the exact same chemical makeup and nature of the ocean. But now it has a tint. It has a specific character.
So that tint represents the subtle memory, the slight coloration of our unique identity.
Yes.
It's that deep intuition you have that you can't quite put into words because it exists in a realm before language.
Right. It's your deep-seated instincts, your latent talents, or maybe even foundational fears that you carry without really knowing why.
Because they don't belong to the active, thinking mind yet. They belong to the realm of the tinted deep water.
And that tinted water of the subconscious soul sits right at the boundary line of this framework.
Yeah.
It prepares us to descend into the next level.
Right, because pure gaseous awareness can't interact with the physical world on its own.
No, it needs a bridge. It needs a mechanism to translate that vast, formless potential into something that can eventually cause physical action.
Which brings us to the middle section. Here's where it gets really interesting. We're moving away from the formless cause, the silent deep, and entering a much more turbulent space.
The quote told us, spirit first, mind after. So now we are in the mind after section.
And the state of matter shifts dramatically. We move from gas to liquid.
This shift in the state of matter is the core of how we experience our daily lives. Think about liquid compared to gas.
It's significantly denser.
Very dense. It still flows, it still has movement, but it is confined by gravity and space in a way that gas simply is not. It has tangible substance.
The invisible, boundless energy of pure awareness is beginning to condense and coalesce into something you can feel, something that exerts pressure.
And the water analogy shifts perfectly to match this condensation. We're no longer resting in the vast, peaceful ocean. The metaphor becomes a wavelength.
The deep, still water has condensed into moving, kinetic energy.
And the human equivalent of this liquid wavelength is the mind or the conscious, which the notes say is driven by thought.
So if the top level was pure, silent awareness, this middle level is the constant flowing, moving stream of our thoughts.
Equating thoughts to wavelengths moving through liquid is an incredibly rich analogy.
Because thoughts are constant. They rise and fall, they crash into each other, they operate on completely different frequencies.
Right. Sometimes your thoughts are calm, gentle ripples on the surface of a pond, and other times they are violent, chaotic storm waves in the middle of a hurricane.
And the framework actually gets very specific about what generates those storm waves. It points out another set of overlapping circles drawn on the page, mapping out the complexities of the mind.
It introduces three components that make up this liquid mind: the monkey mind, the ego self, or mask, and emotion.
Let's really pull these apart because I know you, listening to this, have intimate experience with the monkey mind. We all do.
Absolutely. The monkey mind is that restless, chattering, never-stopping voice in your head. It is the absolute definition of mental turbulence.
It swings wildly from branch to branch, from anxiety about a meeting tomorrow to regret about something you said 3 years ago to wondering what's for dinner.
It never sits still.
Think about a mundane scenario, like being stuck in terrible traffic. The pure awareness at the top of the framework, the deep ocean, doesn't care about traffic.
No, it just observes. It is simply aware of cars, red lights, and time passing.
But the monkey mind, the liquid wavelength, immediately starts thrashing. It starts generating waves. I'm going to be late. My boss is going to be furious. Why didn't I take the back roads? I always do this.
And those thrashing thoughts immediately generate the third component: emotion.
The frustration, the panic, the anger.
These are the dense, heavy currents moving through the liquid mind. But perhaps the most interesting piece of this middle layer is the ego self, or the mask.
Yeah, why define the ego as a mask in a liquid state?
Well, because liquid takes the shape of its container. The ego is fundamentally just a temporary shape that our consciousness assumes to interact with the world.
We pour our consciousness into different roles. The role of a dedicated employee, a perfect parent, a witty friend, and that becomes the mask.
But a mask made of liquid requires constant kinetic energy to maintain its shape. You have to keep generating thoughts and wavelengths to hold the ego together.
Wow.
If you stop moving, if the wavelengths cease, the liquid mask loses its shape and dissolves back into the still ocean. That's why the ego is so terrified of true stillness.
That is a staggering way to view our internal chaos.
It really is.
When your monkey mind is racing or when your emotions are pulling you in a dozen different directions, it is just energy moving through a liquid phase.
It is the tinted water of your subconscious soul being agitated into wavelengths by your thoughts.
It's exhausting, but it is not the final destination. The framework tells us that the mind is essentially a massive, turbulent bridge.
The pure, invisible spiritual awareness has to filter down through this dense, chaotic liquid of the conscious mind and the ego mask before it can ever materialize.
The mind is the filter that the spirit passes through.
And that brings us to the final descent of the blueprint. We've gone from spirit first to mind after, and now we arrive at body later.
The ultimate destination at the bottom of the page.
The energy has traveled from the formless cause, pushed through the turbulent middle bridge, and finally reaches the end of the line.
Here, the state of matter takes its final form, solid.
The formless gas condensed into flowing liquid, and now that flowing liquid has frozen or materialized into solid matter, reality has arrived.
And the water metaphor reaches its logical conclusion alongside it. The deep ocean gathered into flowing wavelengths, and now that energy peaks.
This final solid level is defined as the wave crest.
It is the peak, the most visible, tangible part of the water's movement. It's the part of the wave that actually breaks and crashes onto the shore.
If you stand on a beach and watch a wave break, you don't see the deep ocean currents miles out at sea that started the momentum.
Right, you usually don't even see the wavelengths moving beneath the surface as the energy travels toward the shore.
What you see, which you can physically point to, touch, and be knocked over by, is the wave crest.
And this framework maps the wave crest directly to body and physical reality, driven by action.
This is the moment the entire architectural structure clicks into place. The physical body, our physical reality, and the concrete actions we take in the tangible world, these are just the wave crests.
They are the heavy, dense, visible peaks of the invisible processes that happened above them in the mind and the spirit.
Exactly. Once an action is taken in the physical world, it is solid, it has weight, it is materialized in history.
Which brings us to the core thesis of the entire deep dive. Right at the bottom of this progression, pointing directly to the solid body and physical reality, is the bold label effect.
Remember, the very top of the framework was labeled cause.
So what does this all mean for you?
It means physical reality is not a cause. Your body is not a cause. The tangible world around you, the circumstances you find yourself in, these are an effect.
They're the end result.
The final, solid shape that you experience was ultimately caused by the pure awareness of the spirit, which then filtered through the liquid thoughts and emotions of the mind, finally cresting into physical action.
The physical world is the end of the line, not the starting point.
That completely flips how almost all of us operate on a day-to-day basis.
We constantly treat the physical world as the ultimate reality, the primary source of truth.
If we are unhappy with our physical reality, our health, our careers, our relationships, we try to force a change at the solid level.
We try to punch the wave crest, we diet harder, we work longer hours, we argue with our partners, we treat the solid effect as if it were the cause.
It highlights the ultimate futility of fighting a cresting wave. You cannot change the shape of a wave crest once it is already breaking on the shore.
The energy has already materialized.
The wave crest is entirely determined by the liquid wavelengths behind it and the deep, gaseous ocean currents beneath it.
If you spend all your energy trying to manipulate your physical reality without addressing the liquid mind or the gaseous spirit that generated it, you are just fighting the inevitable.
You are trying to mold solid ice without changing the temperature. It takes immense effort, and it usually shatters.
Or, to stay with the framework's metaphor, if you want a different wave to crash on your shore, you have to go back out into the deep water.
You have to address the wavelengths of your thoughts. You have to examine the monkey mind and the ego mask that are agitating the water.
And if that isn't enough, you have to go even deeper, back to the formless gas, to the pure awareness, and see what tint your subconscious soul is adding to the water.
It is brilliantly symmetrical.
I want to take a moment to really synthesize the sheer elegance of this mental framework for you, because it's something you can practically carry with you into your daily life.
It's extremely practical.
We've been given 3 parallel tracks that perfectly align to explain human existence. First, we have the states of matter. Gas condensing to liquid, which then freezes into solid.
Second, we have the water analogy. The deep, still ocean gathering into a moving wavelength, peaking in a visible wave crest.
And third, we have the human experience, the pure awareness of the spirit, filtering through the turbulent thoughts and emotions of the mind, resulting in the physical reality and actions of the body.
Cause, bridge, effect.
It is a framework that practically demands a deeper level of self-examination.
If we apply this knowledge to your everyday life, it becomes an incredible tool for troubleshooting your own stress and anxiety.
Think about a recent moment when you felt immensely overwhelmed, paralyzed, or just deeply stuck.
According to this blueprint, when you feel that way, you are likely caught entirely in the liquid phase. You are drowning in the monkey mind, constantly maintaining your ego mask, and being pulled by turbulent emotional wavelengths.
Or, alternatively, you are obsessing entirely over the solid phase. You are focusing only on physical actions, tangible results, the unyielding wave crests of your life, banging your head against a solid wall.
And when you are stuck in the turbulence of that liquid monkey mind, or when you are obsessing over the solid wave crest, what have you forgotten?
You've forgotten the ocean.
You have completely lost touch with the cause at the very top of the progression, the formless, pure awareness, the deep, still spirit.
You get so caught up in the tinted water of your soul and the crashing waves of your actions that you forget you were originally made of the pure, boundless gas of pure awareness.
Returning to that top level is the ultimate solution the framework offers.
When the monkey mind is racing and the waves are crashing, the answer is not to fight the liquid thoughts, nor is it to force a solid physical action.
The solution is to ascend the structure, to step back into the pure awareness, the untinted water, the quiet, expansive gas of simply being, to just observe.
Because that pure awareness is the only true cause. If you calm the cause, the effect will naturally follow.
Spirit first, mind after, body later, in that exact order.
It is a powerful reminder to prioritize where we direct our internal energy. Instead of constantly reacting to the solid world, we need to curate the invisible world.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into what is undeniably a profound single page of notes. We've established that our physical reality and our daily actions are just the solid wave crest, the ultimate effect of our mind and spirit.
The very end of the line.
But before we leave you, I want to plant one final provocative thought in your mind based on what we've uncovered today. I want you to mull this over. If our physical reality and daily actions are just the solid wave crest, the ultimate effect of our mind and spirit, what happens to the shape of our physical world when we finally manage to calm the turbulent liquid monkey mind and the ocean of pure awareness goes completely still?